Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Intelligent Marketing and the secrets of my success, or our success as a business, I should say. I am Tricia Weener, as I've said. If you want a little bit more information, it's the only selling bit I'll do visit our website, www.intelligent-marketing.com later. Set the business up 5 years ago now. I have to say, when I look back on it, I didn't know what our business would be like 5 years on. We did have a plan, but it was a one-year plan. I had been told that we needed to do a 3- and 5-year plan as well, but didn't quite get round to those. It was a basic case of making it happen. We're an integrated marketing and communications agency based up in Camden, so it's not far from here. We now turn over around 3 million a year. We are in a highly competitive market, and I think that was probably one of our biggest challenges when we started out, so I shall share a little more about that later. We were, in 2004, the fastest growing agency. Excuse my hair. I have to say, I hate this photo and I hate using it. However, it does prove that we were the fastest growing agency that year. 92% against our biggest rival, Iris, who are considerably bigger than us, but beating them that year by 32% growth was absolutely fantastic. We have continued to grow since then, although it has slowed, as you might expect, year on year. In terms of our client mix, they are varied, which is fantastic in this current economic climate. I have to say, having a breadth of clients in a mix of financial and FMCG and retail is very positive when the economy is as it is at the moment. In terms of how I was inspired, I am a marketeer by trade. I studied business at university and specialised in marketing, and I have a passion for it. I absolutely love it. I get up every day and I enjoy what I do, and I think, going back to what Adam was saying, it's really important that you actually love what you do, because you work so bloody hard at it. Oh, I don't know. I'm swearing. Very hard at it, that you really do need to have fun and enjoy the people that you work with, and obviously the work that you're delivering for your clients. It was actually, in terms of where the idea came from the business, I knew that I wanted it to be in marketing. I had spent many years both client side and agency side, and I think my biggest frustration on both sides of the table is that as a marketeer, you would basically put forward your planned budget for the following year, and you'd basically look at what you'd spent the year before and you'd add a little bit on because you felt that it was justified, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to demonstrate the value that you had created from the work that you'd been doing. And we, as marketeers, are very good at showing the sort of creative, fun side of what we do. The pink fluffy stuff, the pictures, the visuals, the advertising campaigns. But what we're less good at doing is actually proving to businesses at board level that actually there is an enormous value from marketing, and that it needs to be invested in whether the economic climate is good or it's bad. So that was really the basis upon which we defined our proposition, which is still the same today as it was then, which is ideas are important, but results are everything. And we as a business have invested a lot in ROI models, and we work very closely with our clients to make sure that we can identify, in advance of us running campaigns and activities, what the objectives are going to be, and we can then measure the results from that. In terms of what I did next, I don't like to think back to, we set ourselves just 6 weeks from the point at which we decided to set up the business to going live. And actually, that's not long when you have all the things that you need to think about. So I kind of like not to look back. My greatest memory was standing in PC World with my credit card, hoping that my credit card would go through and pay for the PCs and Macs that we needed to buy to get the business off the ground. Fortunately, it did. In terms of starting out, there were 3 key areas: people, place, and infrastructure. In terms of people, to keep our recruitment costs down, we recruited people that we knew of or we'd worked with in the past, which I think was a great thing to do right at the outset. We did start with 11 people, which was quite brave, and obviously quite a cost to start with, but we felt that was right based on business expectation. In terms of the place, we were also very lucky here. Up until about a week before us starting, I had fully intended that we were going to be signing a lease for a 5-year deal on premises that were going to be far, far, far too small. And right at the last minute, the deal fell through. At that point, I kind of decided that probably wouldn't run the business at all. I was just going to give up, that it really wasn't going to happen. And actually, it was probably the best thing we could have done. We ended up moving into serviced offices, and those are offices that you can obviously expand into. We took space that was completely flexible, so literally we could grow into new office space as we needed to, month on month. And we ended up in Camden, which was fortuitous because it's very well placed for both the city and also the West End and getting out to clients elsewhere. In terms of infrastructure, We did it the right way round. We did sort out the bank. We trawled the high street, got that sorted, got our sort of IT equipment, wrote the business plan. So we did follow quite a traditional model. There's many lessons that we have learnt since then, which I shall share with you in a minute. And then came the big challenge. So we had everything in place, but actually getting the business through the door. As I said before, we are in a highly competitive industry. There are thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of agencies out there doing very much the same. So making sure that proposition was very clear, but more importantly, making those difficult calls to clients and trying to encourage those clients that you either had contact with or that you were meeting along the way, that they wanted to work with you and that you wanted to work with them, was really challenging. We did a huge amount in the early days and still do of networking. And we had made a very conscious decision as a business that we wanted to focus on blue chip clients that had marketing budgets and understood marketing. I have to say, though, a lot of the business that we did when we were smaller was actually with bread and butter clients. So smaller businesses that worked within the Camden area that we were able to really add value to and also use as good case studies when we were then taking that out to other potential clients. Asking for help. I have a great view on this. Be shameless when you are starting. Completely shameless. Ask everybody and anybody that is out there. Obviously, British Library is a fantastic resource. HSBC have some amazing resources online. But you also need to consider all of those people in your network. And that's not necessarily your professional network, your friends, your family, people like Business Link. When we started out, I have to recall my father doing our books for us, briefly. We did manage to get on for that period of time. My sister, actually, who is a lawyer at Clifford Chance, became our company secretary and still is to this day. And much as I don't always agree with family being involved in the business, they have both been very helpful at varying times. A very close friend of mine set up all of our IT equipment. So it is really important not to have to spend money in the early days, to be able to get as much as you possibly can, as cost effectively as you can, so you can actually spend the money where it's really valuable. And the benefits of awards. Well, we were very fortunate to be a finalist in the HSBC Startup Stars Awards back in 2004. Didn't win it, unfortunately, and I'm still sore because I'm not a very good loser. I like to win. We have won many industry awards over the years and also very fortunate to win NatWest Startup Awards. But I would just like to replay one story. One very, very early morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, still at the office, I got an email through inviting us to apply for some BlackBerry Business Awards. And basically, it was an opportunity. You had to fill in a form and say why you felt you were a suitable business to win a BlackBerry server and BlackBerries for your business. And I thought, well, I'll fill it in and I'll send it off. So I spent another hour doing that, did it. And blow me, about 2 weeks later, we discovered that we'd actually won the BlackBerries. And they really did transform our business because we then had all of our directors who were able to communicate, not just obviously amongst ourselves, but with our clients as well. So awards do have their benefits and they do certainly create profile. They do make you feel good and they make your staff feel good as well. I think success is really important to share. And if your staff and your team feel that you are successful, then that's also very beneficial. Biggest pitfalls, very quickly. Cash is king, something I learned, I'm sure everybody knows, many, many years ago. But fundamentally, if you don't have cash in your business, you can't invest. So it's really, really important that you are constantly chasing to get your money in so you can make the right investment decisions and grow your business from there. People, we've made some mistakes. We have made some howlers, actually, along the way. If there is one thing that I can say to you is invest in people, understand your recruitment process, interview really thoroughly. Don't just because she's the first person that walks off the street or he is, and you desperately need somebody, you employ them. Because fundamentally, you waste a lot of time and a lot of money training people and also paying recruitment fees. And if they don't work out, it really is a major challenge. So really invest in the right people and think through your processes. And don't expand too quickly. We moved 3 times in the first 3 years, and that was great because we were obviously growing at a rate, but actually in terms of the amount of time that takes up for the business, it is considerable. And now my tips for success. Resist the urge to spend. I find this quite hard personally, I have to say. I do like shopping. However, from a business perspective, keep your costs under control. Absolutely, definitely. In the first 18 months, it is fundamental. So whatever you can avoid spending it. And really try and do as much as you possibly can yourselves and in-house to make sure that you can reduce your overheads. Similarly, keep your operations streamlined. We grew very, very quickly. And I think we got a little carried away with ourselves last year because what we ended up with was a lot of admin support, HR people, and actually we didn't need it. So we very quickly streamlined our operations to actually bring it back to a manageable level. Spread your risk. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Particularly at this point in time, it's good to make sure that you've got, certainly from our point of view with our clients, a very varied portfolio, as I mentioned earlier. Recruit the right people. This is some of our team who did a skydive about 3 weeks ago, so I had to put the photo in. But, you know, they've got to enjoy it. Use every support available, as I said, and celebrate success. This was a very nice evening with a few people from HSBC when we won an award. And celebrate success not just with your clients, but with your team as well. And enjoy it. Have fun, because if you do, you'll be successful. Thank you.